Hi there, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're covering our first Jack Daniel's product. Now let me tell you why we're covering it for the first time after 3 and a bit years of content making. I really don't like Jack Daniel's, and by the way I'm talking about the number 7, the original, the iconic one, the one that everyone knows. When I was a younger man, I got very drunk on a bottle of that, and I've not been able to drink it since. I've tried to smell it a few times over the last few years, and still it's got that kind of sickly feeling to me that really brings back those memories, and I can't keep it down. So I've been reluctant to try some new Jack Daniel's products, thinking that they're all going to be about the same. But fairly recently, maybe as little as kind of the beginning of 2019, I saw this. This is the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select, and that was £25 in a UK supermarket. Now it retails usually about £45, which was an absolute no-go for me. Wasn't going to go anywhere near it at £45. When I saw it for 25, I thought, I think I'm going to give this a go. You know, worst case scenario, I know my brother likes Jack Daniel's, so I could have given him the bottle afterwards. Turns out, I bloody love the stuff. Now, so much so that it did make me go back and want to smell Jack Daniel's number 7 again. Still hate it. So this is an interesting one for me because it's breaking this kind of divide that I've got about the original one and introducing me to something new that I never thought that I would really bother with. Talk a little bit about what this actually is. It's a single barrel, as it says, single barrel select. And what they're trying to say is that this is selected from like the kind of the top tier level in the Rick House, which, you know, it makes it a bit better up there. I don't know, something about heat rising and whatnot. Not the Science Channel. So if you want to know about that, you can have a look at some documentaries. I think I'll put some links if I can. Anyway, if you're interested, there's a little bit of information around this little bit here, and it tells you where this came from. So if you want to compare locations, or you might even have the same bottle as me in a rare circumstance, but I have Rick number L20, barrel number 18-5285, and it was bottled on the 8th of October 2018. So I think I was quite lucky to see this sitting around. I don't know if it'll zoom in on those numbers. Oh, it does, bloody hell. There we go. So that's my numbers right there. Let's pop you back there. Now, the mash bill is supposedly about 80% corn, 8% rye, and then a further 12% malted barley. I say supposedly because that's a kind of generic Jack Daniel's mash bill. It could be a few percent either there. It doesn't really matter. It's a high corn kind of content one with a little bit of rye on the edge to kind of round that off. And supposedly as well, it's also 4 to 7 years old in here. So if they were going to mark it, it would say 4, but they don't need to. Some rules of bourbon. Let's get onto the nose and see what we've got and see if it's really worth spending that money. Now I know, spoiler alert, I told you I like it, but you know, you might not like the flavours. So let's get into the nose. Now I have to say, there's nothing kind of mind-blowing going on here. Now if you've tried a few bourbons, their breadth of flavour isn't as wide as something like, say, Scotch, but it's got a kind of like diversity within its own smaller genre. There is a lot of different flavours you can pick up, and sometimes you'll get things like tropical notes, sometimes you'll get things like dark cherries and maybe together and whatnot, depending on how they make it. The mash bill is a lot more diverse than it is in, again, say, Scotch, which is just malted barley, maybe some grains if you're looking at a blend or whatnot. Regardless, so it's a pretty typical bourbon nose. Bags of vanilla, bags of caramel, toasted oak on the back end, but the thing that really makes it stick out for me, as I said earlier, some tropical notes or some dark cherries. No dark cherries in this, no marzipan in this, but I am getting the kind of tropical notes, kind of banana-y notes almost, like a ripe banana. Let's try on the palate. Now, this is one of those whiskies where the palate translates directly from the nose. So it's more and more of that stuff. Interestingly, though, on the back end, getting onto the finish, it's kind of spicy almost. A little bit cinnamon, a little bit of kind of pepperiness to it. But it's a sweet palate. It's not like sickly sweet, but it's definitely sweet. Much more so on the tropical notes as well. A bit more banana-y notes coming through. Finish is kind of medium-y. It's not like overly long. It's spicy and a little bit sweet as well. But it's an interesting taste. Now, as I said at the top of the show, I really like this dram. But I'm not sure I'd want to keep spending £45 on it. I think it's actually worth it, to be honest. But because I've been treated to a £25 whiskey, a good value whiskey, I'm going to want to wait until I see this on more deals, because I know they can do it now. But I think if you've tried this, you'll know, and it's pretty good. You can't really deny it, especially if you're a bourbon fan. It really fits well in that kind of easily drinkable but affordable category. Watch out for it on deal. If you do see it on a yellow ticket deal, pick it up, and I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you do like bourbon. But £45, I think it probably is worth it. 45%. There is a 50% version, a 100 proof version that's travel retail only, which is just a couple of quid more at £50 if you're going through an airport. Haven't tried that on the channel yet, but I do have a sample of it up there given to me by a friend, so I think I will cover that at some point in the near future. But yeah, I have to say, very surprised by this. This is probably one of those most surprising whiskies of the year where I picked it up on a random and genuinely didn't think I would enjoy it, and actually did. Can't say fairer than that, I think.